I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room and they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh. And they said, right. I said, right, that ain't funny. So to me, it wasn't funny about putting a rope around my MFN neck either. I made a point. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first. And I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room, and you, they think it's a shower, but it's gas. And they said, right. I said, right, that ain't funny, so to me. It wasn't funny about putting a rope around my mem neck. Either I made a point, so what a responsibility you all have to be to. Tell the truth, not just to be first. And I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking enough 7-year-olds deep. Denzel Washington's recent comments about the way Black entertainers in Hollywood are controlled have reignited a heated debate. But what's intriguing about Denzel is that he's one of the few actors who doesn't embrace a victim mentality, even though he's experienced discrimination from powerful figures in Hollywood. Denzel doesn't use it as a reason to give up. In fact, he's determined to shed light on the hidden workings behind the scenes and how Black ENT entertainers are controlled by their contract. It's studios and handlers. One of the most important lessons in life that you should know is to remember to have an attitude of gratitude, of humility. Understand where the gift comes from. It's very hard for up-and-coming actors to make a name for themselves in Hollywood, and having their name associated with a prestigious award such as an Oscar or Grammy is often seen as a dream come true. However, it seems that some industry legends are now expressing concerns about the process of achieving them at level of recognition, and these concerns aren't baseless complaints from bitter individuals. They're coming from some of the most prominent figures in Hollywood. One such figure is Denzel Washington, a Hollywood heavyweight known for his outstanding acting and numerous awards Denzel stands out for. Most of his fellow celebrities, because he embodies true gentlemanly qualities with which we can admire in both his personal and professional life in a time when many celebrities are promoting open relationships and infidelity as acceptable. Denzel and his wife Peta set a remarkable example. They've managed to maintain a solid and scandal-free marriage in Hollywood for 4 decades, which is truly impressive. Most important person in my life. 40 years of sacrifice, 40 years of you. Forgiveness. She taught me about faith, spirituality, love, real love, unwavering love. In spite of myself, I would not be alive without Paul Lederer Washington. I wouldn't be music alive before Denzel entered the world of Sting. He actually thought about becoming a preacher, but looking back, he felt he wasn't quite prepared for that calling at the time. So he chose to let his acting and the way he lives his life do the talking. Instead, however, maintaining your integrity in Hollywood is not an easy feat, and Denzel quickly realized that the entertainment industry has a very dark side. Back in 2014, Denzel found himself right in the middle of the Sony email hack debacle when an unidentified hacker exposed some shady workings from Sony Pictures Entertainment in one of these leaked email chats between a mystery producer and Sony chairman Michael Linton, which happened right after Sony released Denzel's movie, The Equalizer. The producer suggested that Sony should avoid casting Black actors to connect better with the global audience. This producer argued that the movie could have made even more money overseas if they'd gone with a U lead actor instead of Denzel. I believe that the International Motion Picture Audience is racist in general. Pictures with an African-American lead don't play well overseas, the producer wrote. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Once Denzel made his move to Hollywood, it didn't take him long to see what was going on. He realized that there was this whole agenda to profit from Black suffering and use it as a source of entertainment. But here's the thing, Denzel wasn't having any of it, and he refused to take on those kinds of roles. In fact, he made quite a name for himself by telling a producer something that still resonates today. He basically said, if the situation were reversed and your people were the punchline, nobody would find it funny. Then they tried to hang him, and they tried to do all this stuff. And I had a lot of train day in me. There were some Jewish people in the audition, and I said, yeah. They said, no, it's funny. It's like they hang them, and then they can't. I said, yeah, like you bring some Jewish people into a room, and you, they think it's a shower, but it's gas. Oh, and they said, right. I said, right. That ain't funny, so to me it wasn't funny about putting a rope around my MF and Denzel, has also been very vocal about what he perceives as delusional arrogance among some in the industry. According to him, the emphasis on making movies and winning awards should be put into perspective because it's not as challenging as, say, sending someone off to war. When Denzel appeared on The Hollywood Reporter's Oscar Directors Roundtable alongside Mel Gibson and other Oscar-winning directors, he was asked what his worst job was before he started acting, and Denzel quickly dismissed this idea that being an actor is a more noble or meaningful profession than any other regular job. It's like that you people say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax. I don't play that precious nonsense. Oh, move over, get out of here. You know your son got shot in the face. That's difficult. Making a movie is a luxury. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. And most importantly, it's a gift. Obviously, everybody here is as talented enough to do that. But don't get it twisted. It's just a movie. It ain't. Date's a bigger accomplishment, and all his accomplishments. Denzel still rejects the title of movie star, and he once said in an interview, titles have nothing to do with me. That's not who I am. It's like the term movie star. What does that mean? It's just a label they give you until they replace it with another one. Has been, I don't claim either. Denzel has also been very critical of the way the entertainment industry became too focused on pushing political agendas during award shows and its tendency to come across as elitist. But despite the pressure to conform and fit in with the Hollywood crowd, Denzel appears to have maintained a grounded and practical approach to his career, which has allowed him to escape some of the problems faced by other actors. That's not to say he hasn't faced challenges, but he has managed to keep a level head throughout his journey while also voicing his opinion on how Black entertainers are controlled. Meanwhile, Denzel also made it crystal clear that he wasn't about playing the victim card. Even though some parts of the media tried to push him in that direction, he never bought into it. He firmly believes that just because the system has its biases and inequalities, it doesn't mean you should throw in the towel. Denzel held a pretty strong stance on this. He thought it was crucial to keep pushing forward. Despite the odds, he was all about working hard, giving it your all, and not letting obstacles define your path, and he used the challenges as motivation to prove that he could make it on his own terms without selling his soul. Denzel's approach was refreshingly different. He showed that taking charge of your own destiny and striving for success is possible even in a system that might not always work in your favor. However, Denzel has also faced some criticism for his opinions. Back in 2017, he found himself under backlash when he said that the high crime rates within the Black community weren't primarily the fault of the prison system. Instead, he put the spotlight on the importance of having strong, healthy family relationships. I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds. Denzel also opened up about his own upbringing and gave props to his parents for being his guiding stars. Even though his parents went their separate ways, Denzel pointed out that his dad continued to be a presence in his life and a positive role model. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life, even though my parents were together. But I still had a father who was a gentleman and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want one, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7. Yeah, we were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they was doing now. You might be wondering how all of this ties together, right? Well, Denzel's point was that despite recognizing that the system isn't always fair and square, it shouldn't be an excuse to do whatever Hollywood bosses ask you to do. Denzel was all about taking responsibility and using your circumstances as a motivation factor. He knew that acknowledging the rigged system was only the first step, and the real power lay in taking action, fostering healthy family dynamics, and making a positive change. His resilience and determination have served as an inspiration for many, proving that you don't have to step on your values and principles even when the world seems stacked against you. However, not all actors have Denzel's integrity, and a lot of them have faced allegations of selling their souls for fame, money, and awards. And it's not just Denzel who expressed concerns over this. Kanye West famously claimed that Hollywood higher-ups traumatize and monetize celebrities. Me too, you understand? Yeah. After Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, His son you out in Hollywood. A lot of people come up missing music. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. Z, and then there's also comedian Cat Williams, who openly alleged that Jamie Foxx might have compromised his integrity for movie awards during one of his comedy gigs. Cat claimed that Jamie Foxx engaged in a gay affair with singer Marcus Anthony. Cat then took a swing at Jamie for his role in the controversial Quentin Tarantino movie Django Unchained and said F Jamie Foxx and the Django Unchained check he cashed. They offered me the script and I said any black man that do this deserves